Hey everybody, welcome. I see our friends have joined us, so that's exciting. We've got a bunch of friends with us today. I love seeing all these names. So Karen, thank you so much for joining us today. Really excited. So I do have the deck up, Liz. So if you want me to take over presenting the deck, I'm happy to do that.
That is groovy.
All right, you got it. All right. Awesome sauce. So welcome everybody to Happy Hour. It's 4 o'clock. And we have been so busy over here, like talking about the fact that we're going to all be, well, not all of us, but many of us are going to be in the same place together in just a couple of weeks. So that's super exciting. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Me too. In fact, I've started, I want to go get my nails done before we go to the conference. So I don't want to break any. So I've decided that I'm going to do it like the day before we leave. But no, I haven't started prepping or packing or any of that kind of stuff. But just I'm getting excited. I can feel the energy of a conference is coming.
Right? It is.
Yeah.
It's coming up so fast. I'm flying in on the 22nd of June. So I've got to start getting packed and everything too. So exciting. So Karen, welcome. Welcome to Happy Hour. We're just going to take a quick, everybody knows us. I'm Heather, everybody. I know you all. I am the Director of Education and Media at Woodard. We've been doing Happy Hour now for 5 years. You want to learn more about us, head over to thehappyhour.com. Liz, you want to take your intro away?
Sure. I mean, I think that the same thing. Many of you are friends. I'm glad that you're here. You're tuning in because we're a strong community and we learn best from each other. So most of you know that what I do is work with software developers, designing training for accountants. So that's really the area of specialty that I am in.
Very exciting. And I am so excited to introduce Karen Dellaripa, who also, and did I pronounce that right?
Dellaripa.
Dellaripa. Okay. Thank you. And I am so many of us here, that are here know Karen well too. You're a big part of our community. And you and I go back years and years and years and years, even though I'm not sure how to pronounce your name because I never really had to.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things.
I stumble on your last name too all the time.
To hear. So I'm so excited to have you on. We're all excited to have you on Happy Hour and sharing your tech stack. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey as an accounting professional? I know you have a new thing that you're doing, so definitely share about that as well.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I've been working for myself for over 20 years. I worked at CPA firms and other businesses before that. 8 years ago, I think it is, I started my current iteration of my business, Beyond Your Books. It used to be just me, and then Beyond Your Books, I started with Rich, who is now my life partner as well as my business partner. Wasn't at the beginning, but is now. And we started to grow Beyond Your Books together from 8 years ago. So it went from just me to now we have a staff of 12. And the goal was for Rich and I to really get the business to where it was running itself. And we'd step aside and just kind of reap the benefits and advise and do our own thing. And we're pretty much at that point now. Rich is mostly retired and he plays in his garage all day long and does woodworking and maintenance and whatever. He's become a gardener too. And I got bored being a little retired and started another business. And so now I have a gift shop that's brick and mortar in the area where I live. So I work in that 4 days a week. I'm at the shop and 3 days I'm off. And we're coming up on a year of being open, and that's been just so much fun. And just, I discovered the creative side of me that I hadn't found in a long time. And it's just been just fun and different. And yeah, I've kind of reinvigorated and rediscovered myself, which has been awesome. So that's where we are now, and it's just been great. My gift shop is in Virginia, nowhere near Seattle, sorry. We sell crystals and incense and yoga supplies, and we're in a kind of a touristy area, so we have some of our touristy type stuff, and home decor are our main things. We had a couple who was teaching yoga in part of the shop for a while. They just actually moved. We're trying to find a new yoga person. We're trying to do some other classes and different things in some of the space. So it's just been really, really exciting. But yeah, it was funny, for the longest time it was so hard for me to relinquish control of Beyond Your Books until I had something else to do. And that was like a huge learning experience for me. And 2 years ago, I used to be in a mastermind group, and 2 years ago was the last time I met with them for a retreat. And we set goals for 1 year, 5 year, 1 year, 3 year, and 10 year. And I have those goals hanging on my wall, and I've pretty much hit everything on the 1 year and most things on the 3 year. And it's just really cool to see all that, and just be able to not be in the business every day.
I know that's Liz had thrown this in the chat, and it's true. A lot of us are aspiring to get there, to get it to a point where we have a team and we have a tech stack that runs the business so that we can, manage it, but also really pivot and start spending time on the things that we truly enjoy and that are really passionate about. So I kudos to you. And I think that this is going to be an incredibly valuable episode because you've done it. You've done what so many of us are looking to do. And so I can't wait to see and hear your story about how you've done that. So I expect a lot of questions too. So thank you so much for taking the time, to work with us and to come in and do this session with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's great. I'm so excited.
So let's start out, Karen, just could you tell us a little bit about your firm and kind of where you are and what you're doing?
Yep. So company name is Beyond Your Books. As I mentioned, we have 12 team members at this point and about 100 clients. We really, for the last, like the slide says, for the last 5 to 6 years, we've really been scaling up. And I feel like at this point, we're in a pretty good place. I feel like we've got the right team, and we really love our clients, and love working with them all. So somebody asked full-time or part-time. So two of our team are full-time and everyone else is part-time. And that gives us room to kind of add in more time as people want it. So we kind of are flexible in what people, how much people work. And as we get new clients, if someone wants more work, we assign it that way. And we always know when we're kind of hitting the limits to where we need to hire another person. But the other thing I want to touch on about this slide is the profit first piece. And that's really been hugely instrumental in our whole growth, and in a lot of different ways. I first met Mike Michalowicz and Ron Saharian at Scaling New Heights, actually, when we were in New Orleans. And they were just coming onto the scene, and I had seen Mike speak, I think on it was a Friday meetup or something. I don't know, it was something like Facebook meetup or something. And I read what he was talking about really spoke to me personally as well as professionally, because I was not in a great place at the time. I was a single mom with 2 kids, running a business, raising them. really struggling money wise and just like working all the time. I hadn't had a vacation in at least 10 years. And I really, it was a rough spot. And so I started talking to them about Profit First, and I realized not only would it be something great for my clients, but also for me. And even though I didn't have the money to invest in it, I took a leap of faith and did it anyway. And it really was the best decision to become part of the Profit First community. The coaching and support and everything that I got from them just made all the difference, gave me the confidence to do something other than just bookkeeping and really start coaching my clients on their profitability and how they can make more money. As I'm talking to all of them, I'm hearing the words in my head and I'm like, I need to be doing this too. And so I started doing Profit First. And then I brought Rich on as my partner a little bit after that. And our first goal was to get me to take a vacation. And after a year, I was able to take my first vacation, not only because we had grown the business, but because I was doing Profit First and I had put enough money away to take a vacation. So I went to Australia for 2 weeks, which was amazing.
That's incredible.
Heather's muted, but I know she said something.
I just noticed that. Yeah, so it wasn't even just like you took a vacation, like you took a vacation of a lifetime.
Big
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that. And I thrown in the chat that Mike Michalowicz is going to be speaking on Monday during Monday morning's main stage at Scaling New Heights in St. Louis. So any of you that are going to Scaling, you'll be able to see him live, and he's such an engaging speaker and inspirational, and I love his story. We also have a session that's going to be focusing on the Profit First methodology and cash flow, so people can check that out. So it's going to be a really great opportunity. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
And how much of an impact that it's had, because many of us that are here have probably heard Mike Michalowicz speak, or we've read his books or listened to his audiobooks, because I'm a big Audible person. But, I think the thing that was impactful when I first heard the Profit First perspective, and it's something that I still even actually use with my clients now, putting money aside, making sure that you're paid. You get to take home your dollars first. And that's the whole reason that you go into business. And one of the things that a lot of the clients that come to us that are new, they've never done their own personal budget before. And so how the heck are you ever going to know how much money you need to make in your business and bring home if you've never done a personal budget? So those are some of the basic concepts for those who haven't heard of Mike Michalowicz and not read some of his books. He's got a really a great way of making it simple to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and then the business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very similar to your grandparents' old envelope system, where they'd get paid and put money in different envelopes for different things, and they had to live on what was in those envelopes. And so Profit First is very similar, where it's not that you're like it's not any kind of scam or anything. It's really learning to run your business with a certain amount of money, and really being of the mindset where you only spend what you need. We're not talking about not spending when you need to, but really being very conscientious of what you're spending and what you're spending it on, and where you might be able to get it less expensively, or I say creatively, but not in the bad creatively way, but like trading for services, or doing different kinds of things where that you might just thinking outside the box. I think it's a phenomenal system, and I've had so many success stories with my clients with it, and I think it's worth it for anyone who does it.
Yeah,
And
and there's people here that are talking, and Scott was asking a question, and we had Evelyn who was asking a question. And so it is simplistic. I think that one of the things that's unique about Mike Michalowicz is he has a way of taking very complex ideas, concepts, and breaking it down. And we're talking about profit first here, but the other thing that that he has created that's wonderful is Clockwork. So it's a book, it's one of his newest books, and it talks about, as the business owner, getting to a place where you're trusting your team because you've created the processes, you've created the team, you have tested them, and you can walk away. So he's an interesting guy
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
a great presenter.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And he narrates all his audiobooks. So that's also entertaining.
True.
But Clockwork is also, how we got to where we are now is a lot of what Clockwork is about, where you basically want to get to a point where you, as the business owner, can take a 4-week vacation and nothing, and the business will just continue to run. It's and you may not ever actually take a full 4-week vacation, but the idea is a 4-week vacation is a full cycle of your business. And if you can step away for 4 weeks and your business continues to run without you, that's where you want your business to get to. And that's pretty much where I am, I think, for the most part. And it kind of happened, like, I didn't realize it was happening until it happened. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't need to be here for, I could be gone for a month and everything would still continue to chug along.
Well, and one of the things that allows you to do is to take care of not only I started off with doing Fridays, heads down time. And so I was working on the business, but I'm now in the point where Mondays and Fridays I take off, and that's allowed me to go to doctor's appointments. It's allowed me to catch up on kids stuff. There's a lot of activities. I've got kids that are home for the summer, and so I want to be home with them. And so we're spending Fridays together. It's all of those things that we all want to get to, but it takes a while. And, it took me about a year to get to the place where I can actually be in a position of stepping away as well. And it's quite rewarding.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It took me a long time, and I will be the first to admit I'm a bit of a control freak. And so it was really hard for me to really let it go. Especially because in my name, I mean, the business is me, or was me. It's not anymore by a long shot, but it was me for a long time. And so, when your name is on something, you really have to be of that mindset.
Own it. Yeah.
Yeah. But once I had something else to focus on, it was much easier to let go and just let my team, and I have some great women, to be honest, who really run the company. And I shouldn't say just women, because we do have 2 guys on the team, Rich and one other bookkeeper. But it's these 2 women who really stepped up and are managing the business now for us. And I wouldn't be able to have done all this without them.
Well,
awesome.
and I think that a lot of that has to do with trusting them. I mean, anytime that I've taken my team and I've said, come up with an idea, and I listen to them and follow through with whatever it is that they're thinking about, that makes them stronger.
Mhm.
They trust themselves.
Yeah, you have to empower them.
I
to
agree. So I'm excited about hearing about your firm. And so I'd love to move over to, do you want to talk about any of your growth goals?
So growth goals, I mean, I would like to get to a point where I'm totally, like, 100% out, and possibly get to a point where I can sell the business. I think that's still a good ways down the road. We have, talked about potentially having some kind of employee purchase plan. But honestly, most of my team is working for me because they don't want to run their own business. And so I'm not sure that that's the right way to go. But right now, like I said, I think we're in a very sweet spot where we've been a little bit bigger, and we've been smaller, obviously. And I feel like where we are now is a really good size, and we have a really good roster of clients. So I'm not sure how much more growth we will do. I think we just need to tighten up what we're doing and be a little bit more efficient, and maybe, replace a few clients with some better ones. But overall, and my team might disagree and still want to grow more, but I feel like we're right now the company feels in a good place to me.
I like that. And, a lot of what you were sharing earlier is about the team and about the tech. And so, when you're trusting the team with the tech, that is a way, again, to make your team self-reliant because they're weighing in on some of the adoption. So I really like your approach to tech adoption. Do you want to kind of walk us through some of your evaluation of tech and what's being offered in the feedback?
Yeah, so a lot of our tech we've had for a long time, and it's tech that I found at conferences, because I've been a long time attendee of Slater Group, of Scaling New Heights, of QB Connect, and I adopted Bill.com back when I was still working for myself. I had moved to New Jersey and from Atlanta, and I still had clients in Atlanta, and we were sending packets, FedEx packs, back and forth each week. And then Bill.com came onto the scene and changed my whole business, just that alone. So I have some long-standing tech, and then we have newer tech that a lot of times I will go to a conference and see stuff, and I'm very attracted to the bright, shiny, everything. And I come back and tell the team, and they kind of rein me in. And then we go through an evaluation process. And Rich is really good at being the one to say, really, do we need that? Let's think about what it's going to cost to implement. What about the disruption to our clients and to our team and all of that? And we really spend a lot of time evaluating things before we make a decision to implement. And it's become, in the last 2 years, it's become a joint decision with our leadership team.
So we've got some really great questions here, and Jean's asking, how often do you actually review your current tech stack?
I don't know that we've ever done a full stack evaluation. It's really, as a new thing comes onto the scene, we really look at, is that going to be better for us than what we're currently using? So for example, I just mentioned Bill.com. We've actually been moving clients to Melio, not 100%, but as we feel that clients don't need the robustness of Bill.com, we've been kind of shifting them over to Melio as we feel like that's appropriate. So we're kind of straddling Bill.com and Melio depending on what the client's needs are. So that's been a newer thing. We recently switched from LastPass to Keeper. That was a huge evaluation, and Rich really led that initiative as well. And that stemmed from the security breaches at LastPass last year, and we just wanted to protect our clients. So that was a huge decision, and he spent a lot of time evaluating what app and came up with the plan to move everybody over to Keeper. So so we don't evaluate our full tech stack all at one time. It's really as the need comes up to evaluate a certain piece of it, depending on if there's something new or a change, something in the industry changes.
Karen, I just want to clarify, because are you talking about Keeper, the Keeper.app that The one
keep
Ben Stein's
pass-
keeper, or are you talking about the keeper the password app?
the password keeper.
Okay, I
Yes.
just wanted to clarify
Sorry.
because we know we have two. And I just
Yeah,
wanted to
I forget about the other one. Yeah,
Keeper passwords. So there is another company out there called Keeper that focuses on secure password functionality.
yeah. We found password keeper was the most had the most things that we needed.
And
Right.
so Heather, do you mind advancing to the next topic? Because when I saw Matthew's comment that came in, you were talking first, Karen, about having the help to discern which tech to implement. But then Matthew said it's important to have somebody who's reining in the squirrels. It is easy to be squirrely. And I know that, I'm guilty of that. And Heather too. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, that's part of our personalities. And it is nice to have somebody who stops and says, yeah, but is that disruption actually worth it?
Yeah, because I'm definitely attracted to the bright, shiny things. And, well, now some of my team goes with me to the conferences, but in the past I'd go and I knew that they were like, oh God, what is she going to come back with next? And so I try to be careful and think about it, but I am attracted to the bright, shiny stuff and, stuff that looks like it's going to solve all of our problems. And like I said, Rich is really good at kind of being, I don't want to say the negative Nelly. I know he's listening. So,
No, it's a voice of reason is what I'm going to call it.
Voice of reason. Yeah. He's really good at that.
It's important. And I know that everybody is curious about what is your tech stack. So Heather, do you mind advancing so we can see a look at your internal tech? Do you want to talk through some of these here?
So we're 100% QuickBooks shop and have been from day one. It's always been what we've used. I think the next slide is that the new logo for QuickBooks Time.
That is QuickBooks Time, yes.
Okay, I haven't seen that logo. So we use T-Sheets, which switched to QB Time. And so that's what all of our bookkeepers use to track their time. We don't bill by the hour, we do flat rate billing, but we do track our bookkeepers' time so we can make sure that our flat rates are staying in line with what the amount of time that they're spending per month on a client. Canopy is what we use for our task management. We're not a tax shop. We primarily do bookkeeping. We have just a handful of payroll only clients, and then we do the profit coaching. So, but we implemented Canopy 3 years ago. I think we're coming up on year 3, and that's what we use to manage all of our daily, weekly, monthly tasks for the bookkeeping. Smart Vault we've used for 100 years.
Right.
I that was one of the ones I found very early on at a conference. So that's our document storage. We don't connect it to any QuickBooks accounts. We just use it 100% document storage. We have an internal folder and a client facing folder for each client. So that they can share stuff with us, we can share with them, but we can also keep internal documents separate. Track 1099, what we use for our 1099s, and Profit First is, we would like to be 100% with our clients with Profit First, but we're not there yet. And I saw someone, so we're 98% QBO now. We have, I think, 1 or 2 QBD stragglers, but otherwise,
thank you for answering that.
Yeah, we're pretty much 100% QBO at this point.
Let's dive in a little bit further to Profit Keeper. Heather, you want to advance us forward? So we talked a little bit about Profit First, but do you want to share a little bit more? Because everybody who's here with us, the thing that we always do is we want to look at your internal tech stack, and then we say, okay, what have we not dove into, and what would you like to explore further? And so, since Profit First is a big part of your firm, and you were just mentioning wanting to implement it for all your clients, do you want to spend a minute just kind of talking about it?
Yeah. Yes, the secret sauce. So since I became a PFP, I'm master certified as a Profit First professional. So we're a mastery level firm. When we give a client a proposal, we have 3 levels. So we have just bookkeeping only, bookkeeping and Profit First, and then what we call I'm blanking on the name of it, sorry. It's a higher level. We have like some CFO stuff in there as well. So they can choose for any level of our services. At the lot of Profit First coaching anymore. But we have a full, she's not full-time, but she's our Profit First coach. So anyone that signs up at that level meets with her on a monthly basis and does the coaching for that. At the accounting only level, we really just do their bookkeeping, but if they are already doing Profit First, we will do their allocations and just kind of guide them a little bit. We did go through a process where we did Profit First assessments for pretty much every client, if the ones that weren't, trying to get more people to sign up so they could see where they could be. And I think we did get a few more to go that route. I wish everyone would do it. Some people just, it's not for them, and that's totally fine.
Karen, one of the things so a question just came in from Scott, and what it makes me think of is the first time that I saw QuickBooks checking, I was like, oh my gosh, this is designed for Profit First. That was my immediate response to it, because I thought those paper envelopes aren't reasonable whenever you're talking about business. I mean, we're in a virtual digital dollars. And that's where I saw there being a interesting place for QuickBooks checking and the envelopes because of Profit First. And Scott was asking what's the best bank for that. So that would be my answer. But Karen, do you tell your clients or ask your clients to use a certain bank if they're going to be using the Profit First methodology?
Yeah, so that probably segues into the next slide, I think. So we recommend Relay Bank. And I think Relay is one of our sponsors today, right? So Relay Bank actually just became a partner with Profit First, and they built this amazing Profit First allocation tool within the bank, where you can set it up to automatically do your allocations for you. So right now, any other bank that you have, money comes into your income account, and then you have to calculate based on the percentages that we've already figured out how much money gets transferred to your OPEX account, your owner's pay account, your tax account, and your profit account. Really built this thing that does it automatically. And I think the next screen has a screenshot of what that whole setup looks like. So you can set the frequency to be weekly, daily, biweekly, monthly, and on what day of the week you want to do it. You can keep a certain amount in the account. So like when I do my own Profit First transfers, I keep a minimum of $2,000 in my income account all the time. And then so anything above that that's in that account gets allocated based on whatever percentages you set up. So so it's really, really cool that really built this, because we've been looking and asking banks to do this like from day one. And
Wow.
so, but so this is fairly new. I think they came out with this just a couple of months ago. Even before that, though, I highly recommended Relay for the last 4 or 5 years, because they have unlimited accounts and there's no extra fees. And so you can very easily set up as many accounts as you want. So Profit First recommends that there are 5 core accounts. There's your income account, your operating expense account, your owner's pay account, profit account, and tax account. But you can have additional accounts as necessary. So like I have clients that have an account for mats and subs, where that money kind of goes off the top. We set up vault accounts where people can start saving for future, maybe they want to do office improvements or invest in a new piece of equipment or things like that. So we can set up additional accounts where a little bit of money goes into those places each month or each week, whatever the cadence is, to start saving towards those kinds of things. So with Relay, you can have as many accounts as you want. And it's really great to, it's really easy to use. And once you have your main account, it's simple to set up and add additional accounts.
Well, and the being able to transfer the excess balance to multiple different accounts, that is super cool. I didn't realize Relay could do that. So Karen, I just learned something new.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Heather, if you can go back one slide, I just want to point out there's another rule that they created. The maximum balance rule. So that's also where you can tell it to automatically like keep money in certain, like do certain things. I haven't played with that one as much as the Profit First rule yet. But that is an additional rule that they created. So.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're so excited to work with Profit First people, and they did a whole big thing when they announced the partnership, and so I think we probably have, I don't know, close to half of our clients now are using Relay.
Awesome. Very, very cool.
So I hear a lot of what, and somebody called it your secret sauce, what you've been doing with your clients is working with them in Profit First. There was a question that asked, do you do any type of niches with clients? Or is there a type of client base you serve?
So primarily we work with service-based businesses. It's more who we stay away from than who we serve. We don't want to work with construction or restaurants or retail or manufacturing. E-commerce, we have one client we've kind of learned that we don't want to work with more. But yeah, so primarily we do service-based businesses, but it more comes down to the client and their ideals and their mindset, and just if we're on the same wavelength as the client, where their mindset is, that are people we want to work with. So it's really more about the person than what industry they're in.
That's interesting. Whenever somebody says, do you have a niche? And oftentimes we think about an industry, but you're like, no, really, it's about the type of clientele.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So are they going to comply? Are they going to learn and listen and grow? And that's a great client. That's a great, I even think of those as being partners. I mean, they're wanting to have you at the table, right, because they want your advice and guidance.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And we want them to value us and not just think of us as, their number crunchers.
Yep. The bean counters that they can't comprehend.
Right.
So one of the things that we've got here is Stephanie was asking about Well, she was just saying that she had tried Profit First, but the clients that didn't have enough dollars struggled with it. So I think I'll probably just have a quick answer here. And let me say, one of the things that we've done for those kinds of clients is we'll just have them do a disbursement of $50. So it's not even like it's much, it's small. And the goal is like what Karen was talking about in the beginning. She was talking about having a vacation. So what we'll do is we'll just have them do some type of personal savings or business savings, something small. So that way they're stashing dollars and it's not big enough for them to want to go and touch.
Yeah, it's really all about mindset. And, so Mike did a lot of research when he wrote the book, and a lot of what he discovered is like business owners look at their bank balances constantly and make a lot of decisions based on what they see of their balance. They'll log into their bank accounts and see what they've got and make decisions on that. And so the way the system is designed is to use that to their advantage. So if they see, that their profit account is growing, even if it's by 1% a month, that mindset helps them feel like they're accomplishing something and they're doing better and they're making progress in the system. And that little bit, so that's what I always recommend, similar to what you said, Liz, is let's start with putting 1% in a profit account. I mean, 1% is, not very much money. And it's kind of like, I always equate Profit First to your 401k if you're an employee. So, when you work for someone else and you sign up for a 401k, you can choose how much you want to put in. So if you start small, you just learn to live on less of a paycheck at home, and you never see that money. So Profit First is very similar, where all that money comes off the top. Instead of learning to live, you learn to run your business on less, because there's just less there. So that 1% I feel like is really an important start. And it's not a lot, but at the end of a quarter, when you've got $100 saved up in that account and you can take your partner out for a nice dinner, that's a good feeling, and it helps to help you kind of get more in the mindset and say, oh, okay, this is working, I see what this is doing.
Well, and I love it. So Heather, do you mind advancing to the next slide? Because I love it that you're pulling in your internal tech stack and it's actually working with your external tech stack. And we're going to see more of that. But if you want to go through some of these apps, and then we'll dive into the one that we're gonna show here in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, so Bill.com I mentioned I've used for, I don't know, 20 years now. And like I said, we are kind of using that and Melio depending on the needs of the client. Gusto is our 100% payroll solution. We use it internally as well as with every client that we do payroll for. We will not support QuickBooks payroll. And we try to steer everyone away from other payrolls and use Gusto because we've had such great success with it. So that's 100% our payroll. Dext, we adopted, I want to say about 5 years ago. We're trying to keep our clients audit proof, and Dext is really what we use to try to do that. So our process is clients submit their receipts to Dext. We publish from Dext to QuickBooks and then match in the bank feeds so that we can tell when we're missing a receipt. And we explain to our clients that this is why we use it to keep them audit proof, and so that they have a PDF of all of their receipts and they don't have to keep track of that, but we know we've got receipts for every transaction. And it's not 100%. I mean, your clients, you're never going to get 100%, but for most of our clients, they have really embraced it and use it pretty regularly at this point. So that's one we really love. Fathom is, we've just started using that with a handful of clients to give them more in-depth reporting. I would like to get that to where we're using it for a lot more of our clients on a regular basis. I think we just have 5 or 6 that we use it for now. And I'd really like to get some kind of standardized thing going where clients get more interesting information than just what a P&L and a balance sheet will show them. So that's what we use Fathom for. Relay I already talked about, and then Keeper is our password the password keeper. And excuse me, we keep all of our clients' passwords in that because we require that they give us access to everything we need. Our bookkeeping is done in real time. So we need to have access to all the banks and credit cards and things like that, so that we don't have to bother the clients constantly.
That's a biggie right there, is to be independent.
Mhm.
So Heather, do you want to advance over to our next slide? Because I want to look at Relay.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
You talked a little bit about Relay a minute ago, how it works with, part of your secret sauce is Profit Keeper, and to have a tool that supports your secret sauce is like majorly important. So Relay, you were talking about the bank rules, but there's other Relay functionality. Do you want to share some of the other pieces of that software you're using?
Yeah, so and I'm seeing a question about multi-factor authentication, so I can talk about that also after this. So as I mentioned, you can have pretty much unlimited accounts with Relay. So this is a screenshot of just 5 different accounts, but you can, I feel like it's up to 20 or 30 that you can have. There's no bank fees. Everyone comes with a debit card. They just started doing where you can write checks on the accounts. It used to be that checks were not available, but that's a new thing. If it's not out yet, it's coming very imminently. But I'm pretty sure it's out now. You can have virtual cards as well as plastic, physical cards. So it's just works really well with the ease of adding new accounts is what I love so much about it, because it's as easy as clicking that button right there and saying add account and just giving it a name, and it assigns a new account number, routing number right away, and boom, you're off. It's got regular statements. What I love about it also, having a team, is you can create an accounting console similar to QBO. So I have my team set up, and I am the one to control who has access to which client accounts, and I can remove and add team members as needed. So it's not that the client has to add them. I have that control. So I have a main console where I have all my Relay clients accounts listed, and I can go in and assign team members as I need to, and unassigned. So that's a really nice feature for me, to just keep control over who has access to what accounts.
I think that having the ability to control permissions and users, that's super important. And
Yeah.
where did you run into Relay? Like, how did you end up finding them?
I remember, I think when they were first coming out, it was just an email that I got from, I think the guy who started it was at another company, and now he was where?
Yosef, are you talking about Yosef?
Yeah, Yosef.
Yeah, he was with Method, and then he.
Method. Okay,
Yeah.
so I knew him from Method, and so I guess I was on a mailing list, and he reached out to ask me, personally, if I could take a look at this, and I really liked what I saw, and jumped on it right away. So it's also really easy to transfer money between accounts and transfer in and out of Relay to external bank accounts. So there's a couple, obviously it takes I think 2 days to get money out and into Relay from external banks, but it's a really easy process to link them. And so you can move money pretty easily between Relay and other external accounts.
Well, the cool thing is that Relay is one of our sponsors this year, and we're going to very soon have a deep dive because I think that a lot of people have been hearing about Relay. It's fascinating to hear how you're using it in your firm and how it's benefiting, you know, your profit first methodology with clients. So I'm excited to have them on. It'll be, I think
Me
it's
too.
July 11th, whenever we'll have them on. So it'll be after we come back from Scaling New Heights, they'll be on.
It's gonna be fantastic. I'm really looking forward to that. So
I am too.
definitely.
Yeah, and Relay actually helps with the multi-factor authentication because we are coming in from a team side. So we are our own user logins and we don't have to rely on the clients to.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, so that helps a lot. I saw several people asking about that as far as the multi-factor. So when we're using a different bank, we actually set up a group email address internally for every one of our clients. That's the name of our client at beyondyourbooks.com. And we use that email as the email for getting and receiving codes for that client so that it helps with that multi-factor stuff.
Nice.
That management.
Awesome.
Well,
This has been amazing.
I agree. I agree. And, you know, thanks for sharing and being open to questions. I think that there was one question that was about your team, employees or contractors.
They're all employees. We decided from the beginning that we felt that employees would be more invested in helping us succeed than a contractor. And so we went with employees from day one. Our employees are all over the country. I think we're in 6 or 7 states right now. So that's been kind of a pain to deal with, getting registered in every state. But yeah, we've always been they've always been employees from day one. We just felt that we wanted it to be more of a family team environment than a contractor would be.
Awesome. Well, this has been, Karen, you truly are a wealth of knowledge, and I just am so grateful for you sharing all of the goodness and your journey and your learnings. This has been incredible.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
yeah, this has really been fantastic. So, and I think everybody in here has Yvonne sharing that everybody's just really benefited from this.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
thank you so much. And we'll
Yeah.
have some special happy hour swag for you in a couple of weeks when we see you,
Oh,
along with
thanks.
a giant hug from both of us.
Yeah, and I will be at Scaling. I won't be there till Monday, but I'll be there. So if anybody that was on here wants to know more about my journey, I'm happy to talk about it in person. If you see me at Scaling, come up and say hi.
I'm
Awesome.
sure that you're probably going to get some people taking you up on that, Karen.
Oh yeah,
no problem.
yeah,
Well,
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you to all of our sponsors for making these episodes happen. You know, we've always wanted to make sure that we've got content for free and available. So our sponsors help to cover our admin cost. And the other thing that we have done this year is we have had annual sponsors because we really want to show you tech stacks. So how these apps are being used in firms, who's using them, how they're using them, and some ideas about how they even connect are coming. So Heather, if you want to advance to our next slide.
I feel like Vanna. I need like a fancy dress.
We've got our specials here. Rewind and Client Hub and Sender all have some specials that are available for us. Do you want to advance to the next slide? Because I want to make sure that everybody knows, yes, to follow us on Facebook and to make sure to be logged in. And this is where I wanted to get to, Heather. You read my mind. So upcoming episodes next week, we are going to be joined by both Growth Lab and RoyalWise. So RoyalWise, many of you know Alicia Pollock. She is somebody from our community. She's one of us, and she has wrote several books. and has a lot of training on demand available. And then we're also being joined by Dan, who's going to be from Growth Lab, and he's going to be talking us through some of the things that they're providing for accounting firms. So just like we're talking about tech stacks, they do some connecting of tech stacks and development of your firm's tech stack.
Yep, they are. If you don't want to do the connecting and managing of your, of your tech stack, they will manage that for you. It's pretty cool what they're doing. So I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to be at, Liz and I will both be at Scaling New Heights. We're going to have a banner as we have had in the last 5 years. So we look forward to seeing you all. One of the other things that we're doing is that if you are going to Scaling New Heights, you probably know that we're having a prom, an adult prom on Tuesday night. So stop by the happy hour booth if you're looking for a dress. We're going to be bringing some gently used dresses that we are collecting, and we will have a dressing room there. So if you don't want to pack a prom dress, but you still want to wear a prom dress, come see us at the happy hour banner, which will be right outside the exhibit hall, and we will hook you up.
Or if you have a dress that you want to donate, bring them.
Oh, yes. Yeah, if you have like a whole bunch of dresses, bring them to us, and we will share them with everyone. So super excited about that. All right. And we are right at the top of the hour. Thank you again, Karen. This has been fantastic. And thank you to everybody for joining us. We have a big crowd today. So do we have a poll that we need to run?
We do not, because we will have our deep dive of relay on July 11th. And so we'll probably do our poll then. And then on July 25th, we'll have Sherelle Martin come on, and she'll do another.
Oh, I'm so excited. Spotlight. I love Sherelle.
Yeah. So July is going to be a busy month too.
It is going to be a busy month for sure. So, all right, everybody. I guess we're wrapping up a little bit early today. I don't know that we've ever done that on Happy Hour before, but we're going to give you 1 minute back. Now it's probably like 45 seconds, and I'll stop talking because we're just running it down. But we love you all, and we'll see you guys.
Love you all.
Bye-bye.